Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Leos, we're going to take a little peek at who is it who thinks about Leo. Okay. Um, and this is kind of the inspiration for in the, Akashic Records, that concept that there's like a cosmic library where everything we can do, have done, will do is already recorded and already exists. And, it's in this big cosmic library. So if we want to change something in our life, we kind of like technically think about like pulling down a different book off of the shelf and living a different timeline. But in this case, I want to take a look at it kind of more from somebody else's perspective of the person who's thinking about Leo. So this is a little bit more like their potential like timeline or what they're thinking about. So we have a 5 of Cups upright. We have a 4 of Swords. We have a 10 of Swords. We have a King of Swords. The person who thinks about Leo is probably this Libra, Gemini, Aquarius masculine, the King of Swords. They think of Leo with a lot of regret. They feel like they put 10 swords in Leo's back. They feel like they left Leo at a really difficult time of Leo's life as well. They stopped talking to Leo at a time where Leo could have actually been literally struggling. And this is something, it almost says so that they say, I was forced to stop talking to Leo. Why? The only reason I say that is because we have the police there, right? Hanged Man, the Moon, the 9 of Wands, because I wasn't going to be able to give Leo anything anytime soon. And Leo didn't know that. I literally had stuff I didn't want to tell Leo yet. I had things about myself that I didn't want to tell Leo yet. I had things that why were you not willing to make yourself uncomfortable to make sure that you were there for Leo, though? 4 of Cups, that's one of their major regrets. So at this point, what you're full of regret toward Leo right now. Let me just ask it this way. Let me change decks, actually, since I'm pausing and I'm like, I don't want to keep asking the same question, is why you saw me pause there. May I just ask, how do you think about Leo right now? Ace of Cups in the reverse, 6 of Wands upright. So you think Leo is doing smashingly well, and you also think that Leo does not love you. Or do you think Leo is doing smashingly well, but is not loving themselves enough right now? Hang on. 8 of Wands. It's interesting because they feel like Leo's moving forward, but is also simultaneously surrounding themselves and protecting themselves. Protecting themselves in what way? Is Leo insulating themselves against you? Is that your perception? 4 of Wands, 8 of Swords. It's weird. This person has an awful lot of opinions about Leo right now. Either they're saying, I think that Leo is like, I may have hurt Leo so badly that they may be afraid to love again. Did Leo tell you that? Why do you think that of Leo? We have the Lovers card upright. This is a very magical, fantastical Lovers card. Okay, I think that this King of Swords, in their mind, I'm not saying this is how it is, but in this fictional story, this fictional king thinks that Leo was so very damaged by them and by what transpired. They think Leo's holding back, hanging back. They think that Leo is in this energy flow of, they know that Leo sees long-term partnership as something beautiful and even magical, but they also think Leo hides from it. They're doing great things in their life, but they think deep down, Leo's now scared of love stories, even though it's like they know, because they saw Leo at one point in time totally like swept away by magic. So this to me says it could have felt like magic between themselves and Leo. And that could have been why they're like, I know that it felt so unique and it was so beautiful, because we got 2 mythical creatures here, right? For this Lovers card, we have the mermaid and we have Pan. He's saying we had something that was so good What's the song? Something so strong, it'd carry us away. I don't know who sings it. It's a man's voice. Again, it's probably an 80s track. Um, we got the Page of Wands. It definitely felt like magic. And he wanted it to feel like magic. And it did. It felt so special. And this King of Swords is saying it felt so amazing and it was so special. And then that's why, since I feel like I put 10 swords in Leo's back and I left Leo, especially high and dry, at a very difficult time in their life, that's why I think that I probably shook Leo's own like belief in the magic of love. With that Page of Wands upright, did you concoct something that you sold it like it was really fabulous when in fact you were only a page at that point? You really didn't have that much to offer, but you wanted it to look like you were going to offer that much. Three of Cups. I think that they bought into whatever glitz and glam they sold to Leo. They really, really, really wanted to be with Leo. I do think that they might have started out thinking they were just going to flirt with Leo and it was going to be like a fun, like alter ego. Like I'm going to come in really strong, act like I'm this, wonderful lover or something, or, I could just flirt with Leo. And then instead they took it and they started to believe the tale that they were telling themselves. Like they started to try to actually be with Leo. They, really spent time with Leo and they totally bought into this illusion, hook, line, and sinker themselves. And the only reason it was an illusion is because what we saw here is I was in no way, shape, or form ready to give anything more to Leo. And I didn't tell Leo a thing about that. I didn't tell Leo I was, a procrastinator like you wouldn't believe, and that I was a 9 of Wands, a wounded warrior. I didn't tell Leo that. And I so regret that I didn't tell Leo what my real situation was. It's like they used this little escape from their reality to try to flirt with this awesome Leo, but then they actually wanted to believe that they were the person they were presenting themselves as, that they were strong and ready to be in this magical love story, because I actually think it is a magical love story. They wouldn't still be thinking about Leo like this and be devastated over it if there weren't something there. However, here's the thing. When you start something and it's not real, you're going to hurt that person. They ended up hurting Leo. That is what happened here. They ended up hurting Leo. And that really sucks because they broke Leo's heart and they are the ones saying that. Now, I would wager to bet, since they're the ones carrying a hell of a lot of guilt, we got all the guilt cards in here. The 5 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, we've got them, the 4 of Swords, the 10 of Swords. I mean, and this is all on their side. So this King of Swords, I feel like they messed up so freaking bad with Leo, all because they were wishing that they could have had like a real run at things with Leo. And then they try to just a little job. I'm just going to touch a toe across the line. But then they bought into the lie that they were selling. And for a moment, they got to experience what it would be like to be in this crazy, amazing love story with Leo. And then it's like snap back to reality. Whoop, there goes gravity. And there's Rabbit, but he won't give up that easy. Sorry, we got a little Eminem going on right now in my head. It feels like they ended up basically looking like a liar, pants on fire to Leo, because everything that they offered was suddenly pulled. They pulled the rug right out from under Leo's feet. They came across as romantic. They came across as magical. They came across as like, I mean, this is so tender and passionate and magic, and then devastating loss. So that's how they think about things. So that's where they are in their head. But let me just ask, what do you want with Leo at this point? Knight of Cups, 2 of Pentacles. Look, the Knights are action takers. I wish I could come toward Leo. I wish I could play them a saxophone song. I wish I could see them this winter. I wish I could go wherever Leo is. I wish maybe everything could be balanced again. I wish I could thaw out the ice that might be around Leo's heart. Or I wish I could use a laser beam to fix something. Oof, the 7 of Swords. And all of this, this is the hieroglyphs here This is somebody who lied through not telling Leo a bunch of stuff that Leo could never have imagined was part of their life. I am freezing cold. Oh my gosh. I am absolutely freezing. Okay, tell me a little bit more. So what you want with Leo now, the Fool in the reverse, but the Five of Cups again. What they wish is that they could tell Leo about the things Leo says you are a liar. And they're wishing that they could explain those lies, even though it would require them explaining. I don't know what happened in their life, but they had like many spokes of problems and things that seemed to have been very complicated. Reasons that they were not free. Maybe they were living in two different worlds. Maybe I'm picturing somebody who like owes a bunch of money to two different entities. Like I owe this person money, but then I also owe whatever the government money, and I stand here and I can't go anywhere. I mean, look at how this person is, even though it's a Fool card, and normally that would be like somebody who's like embodying, all possibilities and they can take a leap anywhere. Instead, right now, it's looking more like somebody is all wrapped up. You're straddling two different things. You have to keep going. It's like, I have to keep working this much to try to just make minimum payments or something, but then in making those minimum payment, it takes all of my money. It's like, I don't know if this person got themselves between a rock and a hard place and they can literally go nowhere. They have no breathing space. They have no freedom. That's what it comes across as. Every single one of their offering abalone shells is empty. It looks like for what it's worth, Leo, it looks like they have had a much rougher time of it than Leo. It appears that their life, although they did not explain any of this to Leo when they tried to have a flirtation with Leo, that then kind of went a little bit off the rails. So then they could really like start to live in the fantasy that, oh God, what if I could be with this amazing Leo? What if my life were free and I could just enjoy my time with Leo? What if I weren't standing on two different sides of a chasm and, standing here saying I actually have nothing to my own name right now. I don't know if this was about money, or it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, I was happily married to somebody else and just stepping out on the side. It does not come across like that at all. Six of Cups sideways. What I think they want with Leo is to at least explain their emotions were real for what it's worth. If they could just make it so that Leo would understand that the only reason this ever happened in the first place is because they felt like Leo was a soulmate, and that was something maybe they've never felt before. It's still, it's not to like excuse or say, oh, well, then that's cool. It just says that they maybe just want to explain to Leo. Death card. They do wish or hope that they could change things with Leo with that Death card. If only they could. We got the Queen of Wands. We got the Devil. Got the Prince of Wands. I mean, let's not lie. They do fantasize that if I could explain all this to Leo, Leo might actually still be interested in me. I mean, look, if Leo would take them back under any circumstances, this person would be all about it. Now, I still would argue they don't have much more of anything to offer than passion. And maybe somewhere down the road in the future, they could offer more. But honestly, this person is like desperate for Leo's touch right now. Right now, a lot of their regret is because of what happened, which led to Leo not being in their life, which led to Leo thinking that they're a liar. But right now, they wish it could explain it so that Leo would know that some things they didn't lie about, or even that all of it that they didn't lie about, but they didn't explain the scenario, that they got carried away. But their big wish truly would be that then Leo would say, well, okay, we can still have a passionate connection then. And that's not them saying that's all I want from Leo. It's that might be all they can offer is basically their body. Because I don't know how tangled up the rest of their life is, but man, are they desperate for Leo right now. I mean, plain and simple, this person is literally desperate for Leo, for Leo's energy, for Leo's voice, for Leo's touch. But they have the utmost respect for Leo. This is not like a booty call scenario. This is, they think of Leo as the Queen of Wands. We have the Prince of Swords. sideways. And at the same time, they think this is never going to happen. They very impulsively think about just reaching out and just trying it, just seeing what happens. And then I think they think better of it. But it's mostly, this is a very difficult time for this character. They are in tremendous regret. Can I just see, since this is like, what pathway will you choose? Because I just want to cut to the chase. Our character already kind of knows what they're going to do, even if they haven't admitted it to themselves yet. 10 of Wands and Strength. At some point, for what it's worth, they're going to, like, this tension is probably weighing heavy on them and eroding down that, like all the question mark of what if, I wonder if this could work. I think they are going to finally just go ahead and talk to Leo. It just feels like they may be, when they talk to Leo, it could be with a very beat attitude. They may be saying, I know for a fact you'll never want anything to do with me, but for what it's worth, Leo, here's the real scenario. They want to sit down and just talk to Leo. They don't think there's going to be a shot, but they do think that Leo will probably hear them out. And if nothing else, they'll finally get this off their chest. The fact that, look, I do think that this person, they just want to tell their truth now. That's all it is. They just want to tell the truth to Leo. Yeah, they wish that they could get to touch Leo again. But on the other hand, they just want to tell their truth to Leo at this point. Final message on this one. We have the shadow side again, which is the devil again. We can see that, I don't know what this person is saying that they're always bothered by, plagued with. This person has a lot of fears. They have a lot of stresses in their life. And maybe that's another thing that they want to tell Leo about. So it could be a couple different things. This person like lives in two worlds. They have two halves of themselves. They feel split in half, whether that's because of their, I was, thinking about it like monetary problems or something. But here they're grabbing their head and they're really stressed. So maybe this is somebody who feels like, they get really burdened by stresses sometimes. It overwhelms them sometimes. Maybe this is the other thing they just want to convey to Leo, just so Leo knows, like, they may have this wrong perception that, I can't be a great partner because, I get overburdened by stresses sometimes. I hope nobody cheats themselves out of a happy love story or life story because they've got it in their mind that there's, I'm not perfect. I have, things that plague me, because we all do. And you know what? We end on a really nice note here. We have that Temperance card. I think at bare minimum, we have the potential where I think if they feel like they hurt Leo, that could be really great for them to just convey all of this and tell Leo the full truth. Like, I had problems that I didn't want to tell you about, Leo. I was worried. I don't know that I would be a great partner because I feel like I have things that make me less than, telling Leo about their fears, that's why they didn't follow through or they didn't stay around. This actually just says it would go a long, long, long way to like making everything like peaceful again between Leo and this person. That comprehension, that calmness, that generosity, that equality could come back in. And who knows, that might be how a relationship could actually get off the ground. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Really appreciate you guys. Take care. Bye.